Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And Bengals served up a treat for us today. Some would say a 3-meal course as he introduces NFL Stock Exchange onto his channel. If you're not familiar with them, that's PFF's Trevor Sikkema and Connor Rogers. They're a blast. You probably know them. You probably know Bengal. They're all significantly bigger than I am, subscriber-wise, because you know your boy's packing. But what's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love having that nice, beautiful football discourse with y'all. Shoot, matter of fact, yo, Mr. Sikkema, sir, can I call you Trevor? Trevor, I'm a big fan. Matter of fact, I got a Tom Brady Buccaneers jersey back there, and I'm a Dolphins fan. You might be like, why do you have that as a Dolphins fan? And I will simply tell you this. With him being in the AFC East for so long, I'm just saying, every Dolphins fan knows who their daddy is. Him and Grandpa Belichick. So let's get into this sucker before, I'm more depressed. And I already went ahead, I watched it, so I'm familiar with who they picked, why they picked them. So let's go ahead, do the dang thing. Here we go. So Bengals started off with Trayvon Walker. And this is kind of, it started out what they would do, but they also dived into predictive and guys that they've heard are going around, or gonna probably go into the first round. So it's a little mix, a little blend. Again, I suggest you go watch the video. But hey, Trayvon Walker has been talked about at number 1 for the Jaguars. Aiden Hutchinson, still the betting favorite. I typically side with Vegas. They're pretty good about that stuff. But we know Bulky. We know he likes them big athletic boys. Aldon Smith comes to mind. And when talking about Walker, at least in comparisons to Hutchinson, let's just say it's one was a glowing review. The other was, oh, that's nice. He's nice. So it could very well happen. Going on to number 2, the Detroit Lions. This one, I believe, was Trevor. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump to where he makes a pick. And he goes with Aiden Hutchinson. Again, I mean, listen, if Walker goes 1, I think Detroit, they sprint the card in. They get the hometown boy. This just feels like a Dan Campbell guy, locker room leader, a real culture center. Cultural center? Is that the word? Why are words escaping me? I got to go over 30 more picks. Culture shock. Let's go with that. Culture shock type of guy. And while he might not have, of course, the ceiling of Walker, the ceiling of KT, he probably has one of the highest floors in this class. So really not much to discuss about. Let's go ahead to Connor Rogers and number 3. There are some trades in here. Oh, I kind of skipped. Who cares? Trent Mcduffie, Icky, going to the Texans. Straight up, man. When I did the Walk the Mock where I was drafting for the Texans, I went with offensive tackle. I'm not afraid of Titus Howard. They used a majority of the time last season at left guard. I know a lot of that was because of injury. He's listed as a right tackle on his Twitter. That's not stopping me from taking. I would prefer to be taking Evan Neal, but I know a lot of people are very high on Ekwonu. Icky's like not that far down from him. I think he's like 4 or 5 on my big board, so it's not like it's a big leap or anything. But I think he's 4. Maybe he's 5. I can't remember. No, he's 4. But no, Icky's great. He's a guy that could probably start out at left guard if you do want to keep Howard at right tackle. So that's fine. I prefer to go with Evan Neal because guess what? Evan Neal, he also has guard experience. I'm not too. If you're really that hell-bent on Howard sticking at tackle, is what it is. KT, listen, this might be just best player off the board, man. I'd be willing to take. Listen, if KT came in, unanimous number 1 pick, number 1 prospect initially, and then this season kind of happened. I don't think much has changed about our eval on KT. It's just kind of the situation, the the environment has changed. The Aiden Hutchinson rise, the Trayvon Walker combine. So I think that's changed. I don't really care about the whole brand name stuff, and I think he's got a high ceiling. I'd be willing to take him with the first 3 picks. Him making it a 4, I'm running that card up. All right, the New York Giants. I wonder if I'm trying to remember who did this one. Let's see. See, with these videos, man, I don't like it. I always have to skip through. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this was Trevor. Okay, so he grabbed Cross, which, to be fair, the OTs in this class, the tackles, there's a lot of discussion about who's OT1. Like, really, a lot of people have it in all kinds of different orders. It always comes down to the same 3 guys: Cross, Ikwanu, Evan Neal. I personally have Evan Neal. If you haven't checked out my OT rankings, my offensive line rankings, it's on the channel. Go take a look. But I prefer Evan Neal, but I get the upside with Cross, a guy that might not be necessarily NFL ready from like a Russian concepts perspective, coming from Mike Leach's air raid offense, but still, I think a lot of people are gonna love Cross. Man, I dare say even Trevor, if the NFL seems to really like Trevor Penning, so you may even include him up there. I personally I don't think he's a top 20 guy on my big board, so like I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you see Penning maybe sneak in as OT 2 or 3. But yeah, we know they gotta go tackle the Giants. And then I know Rodgers made this pick, and for the Panthers, and it was Evan Neal. You kind of you got to. Evan Neal sitting there, you would be foolish not to. And I get it. They could go quarterback. That's kind of like the word out there. Kenny Pickett's name's been tossed around, even Malik Willis. But listen, no matter what, I've said this before in the past, you know what, it doesn't matter what this pick is, it's not going to probably save Matt Rule's job, so they might as well just make the best pick from an organization standpoint, with this probably being Evan Neal, especially if it fills that left tackle spot. And the New York Giants, so this is in fact Bengal, and I think he goes corner, he goes sauce, I'm pretty sure. Mod Gardner. We don't need to discuss this too much. Dory Jackson might not be a long-term answer. James Bradbury, he's been floated around as a possible trade candidate. Even if they do restructure something, they could use more outside corners, because I kind of believe that Aaron Robinson and Darnay Holmes are probably slot guys. Just from a length perspective, they're probably slot guys. So Sauce is a banner pick. Actually, Connor Rogers was talking about him potentially going 3, and I don't think that's too far out of left field. And the Atlanta Falcons go Jermaine Johnson. And I know Trevor Sickmo really loves Jermaine Johnson. I think Connor Rogers does too. Firmly sounds like he's going to be a top 15 guy. It really does. He's had a very strong off-season draft process. I think there are a few hiccups when it comes to Johnson. I don't think for a guy with his type of build, I think he is particularly bendy, but if you go look from an analytics perspective, when those pressures and those sacks, they typically hit home after about 3 seconds, which is a big concern. That's that. If you're not new to the channel, you know you've heard me say this pass rusher is a late to the party, life of the party type of guy. So basically late to actually applying pressure and kind of reaps the rewards of a sack. And that's why we see inflated sack numbers, and it's like, oh, why didn't Dante Flower produce at all when he was in Atlanta? It's like, oh, because he wasn't getting a lot of pressure. He can't just be the guy. So there is that concern with Johnson, but the dude tested out phenomenal, very explosive. Won't surprise me if you're in Atlanta. Honestly, just take the best player available. I know your wide receiver core is kind of crap too, but and personally, I probably would take Garrett Wilson because I got him higher on my board than Jermaine Johnson. But hey, whoever it is, go for it. It's not like they're that far apart. Seattle Seahawks don't trade. There's no trade here. I know there's a trade coming up. So the Seattle Seahawks take Derek Stanley. I would like this. I mean, if you're really thinking about it, well, who else kind of makes it to this pick? If you're the Seahawks, like if no quarterback goes in the top 8, like in the first 8 picks, you're not gonna be able to, like, Derek Stanley, you have to settle for who's that last maybe elite potential guy. Like the top 3 tackles are off the board. You arguably the top 4 edges are off the board, and one corner gone, you might as well take the other. It's not like corner position is not a position of need. You know, they have Trey Brown there on the outside, and who else? Who? Nobody. And at least Derek Stanley, man, he gives them just a guy who has top 5 potential. Like he looked good at his pro day. Liz Frank surgery or injury, as of now, I'm not concerned about it. A lot of people are concerned about the lack of production the last couple of years. Also, to be fair, he got hurt this year, so he only played like 3 games. Everyone only talks about the UCLA game too, by the way. They don't talk about the next 2 games. Granted, it was against lower competition, but the dude was shut down. But yeah, no, I like this pick here. It's a weird spot for the Seahawks. If a quarterback doesn't go in the top 8, I don't think that'll be the case, but yeah. The New York, I remember this. The New York Jets. They will take a receiver here. Who is it? You might be asking, which receiver does Bengal take? Because this is in fact Bengal's pick. And waiting for it. Dude, Bengal gives me a lot of crap, because I talked about Trayvon Walker one mock, and he had him pretty high. I was like, oh, that's a bit rich, and just had this colossal rise after the combine. I was like, I mean, I thought that for me, Trayvon Walker probably would have been a top 10 guy if he entered the 2023 draft. Didn't realize how, like, to be fair, like this no one expected like the quarterback class to be this, I don't want to say bad, because there's talent there, but lack of elite talent. So like I just didn't expect the Trayvon Walker rise. I thought he'd probably be at best a middle first round guy, but here we are talking about him first overall. Really got cake on my face. Is that the same? I think it's egg. But Jermaine Williams has been talked about as receiver 1 in this class. There are rumors around the NFL. I've been retweeting out the wazoo when it comes to his progress from his injury, because he had that in the national championship. I'm not saying he's going to play week 1, but I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, I preferably would probably take Garrett Wilson here just because he's the top guy on my board. And I think he kind of like, I like the fit a bit better, assuming they don't get Debo. But listen, Jameson Williams is pretty darn good in his own right, so I ain't gonna front. So they do have a trade here. Washington trades down, and I think that's good. Washington's been a popular trade-in spot when I do mocks, and they actually trade with... No, they don't. Oh, it's the next one. My bad. Well, egg on my face. Got it right that time. So they go Drake London. And it's basically pairing him up with... oh my gosh, Scary Terror. Why can't I think of names right now? Probably because it's like this 6th or 3rd video I've done today, along with a 2-hour live stream. But Drake London, pairing him up. I think I still would have gone Garrett Wilson, preferably. It's not. I don't think him and Curtis Samuel like fill a similar role. I don't believe that. A lot of people really do love Drake London. I do too. I think he's like 16 on my big board, so it's not like it's that far off. I mean, I think the important part is just investing in a talented receiver next to Scary Terry McLaurin. If De'Ami Brown kind of be just that vertical threat. And this is where there's a trade. It's the Minnesota Vikings. So no, it's not. No, it's not. No, they do trade, but I don't think it's the one I expect. It's the Saints. Okay. So there is another trade coming up. But it's so the Saints trade up here, and which I'll talk about after the pick's made. Oh, it is Garrett Wilson. So this is the thing. I don't know if they give up 19, or I don't think they give up 16. I think if they're gonna move up, I don't think it can involve 16, unless depending on where they're at. Are they in on getting a tackle in this class? A lot of people believe maybe they traded up to get in front of the Chargers because they think, I've been telling y'all, man, Trevor Pennon, man, might be a hot selection there at 17. The NFL really likes Pennon. Don't be surprised. I'm trying to get y'all Charger fans prepared for when it might happen. But I don't mind the trade up. I just don't think it involves pick 16. I think they want to stay in front of the Chargers solely for that purpose. So if I were to change anything, it'd probably be that. But again, that's just my 2 cents. At the end of the day, what the hell do I know? But they get Garrett Wilson. I think getting another solid weapon there with Michael Thomas, another Ohio State guy too. I mean, to be fair, what's the alternative? Maybe Chris Olave, another Ohio State guy. But yeah, no, getting someone to complement Michael Thomas is definitely clutch. So Ken McWanu went to the Houston Texans, and I actually went through the same scenario in the content creator Walk the Mock, where I accepted a trade down. I ended up trading down and had the Packers move up. In this scenario, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And take a wild guess, why are they moving up? Who was Mike Tomlin talking to at the Senior Bowl? Whose parents was he talking to? I'm just saying, Steelers fans, I think y'all really might be in on Malik Willis. I really just think that's the hard, cold facts. So doesn't surprise me. Typically, that's why I was like quick to have thinking Washington was the team that traded down, because typically that's one of my trade down spots. And now thinking about it, I don't know why. Maybe I would take Williams at 11. Maybe I need to rethink that. Yeah, I think I do. Oh wow, look at see, this is why I like looking at other people's perspectives. It opens up my mind to a variety of different possibilities. Again, if you're not new to the channel, that's kind of what I do. I talk about a variety of different ways teams can go. I try to introduce different prospects just to further educate you. And again, I love this mock the mock series because it helps me. So look at us, we're all learning together. I know the Ravens pick is Jordan Davis. We'll get to the Eagles in a sec, but and Sigma says this, that he can't see 13 other players getting drafted ahead of Jordan Davis. I'm just gonna say this: we saw Derek Brown go in the top 10, I believe. I'm trying to remember specifically where. I know it was inside the top 10. Jordan Davis is a better prospect. I wasn't that high on Derek Brown though, to be fair. But Jordan Davis is a better prospect. This is a weaker draft class. He's going to go higher. Where that is, hell if I know, man. Honestly, I won't be surprised if he went to the Seahawks. I won't be surprised if he went to the Falcons. Honestly, I won't be surprised if he went to the Jets, the Saints. To be fair, the Saints traded up. But it does feel like Baltimore is the sweet spot. That's kind of the floor. If all the edges are off the board for the most part, unless I don't think they're going to go George Karlaftis. I just don't. It just sounds like he's a guy that'll probably be outside the top 20 in the draft. So they go Jordan Davis. It's nice. Michael Pierce, not a long-term option. Nice return to the team, but not a long-term option. Chris Olave going to the Eagles. He is my wide receiver 4. They did bring him in. So, makes sense to me. I think he could be a good high-end number 2. You might ask, is he much different than what they have in Devontae Smith? No, but both are very good receivers. You want to get more weapons for a la Jalen Hurts. So this is the Minnesota Vikings pick. I don't recall. Oh, I remember where they go. I'm pretty sure. I think they go Kyle Hamilton. Yep. Dude, look at me. I'm just skipping picks all kinds of ways. So they go Kyle Hamilton. Essentially, if you're the Vikings, go best on the board. Because, listen, I would have been willing to go Trent McDuffie at pick 12. But I'm pretty high on Trent McDuffie, so I don't mind making that pick. I think Kyle Hamilton definitely you could talk about. Because Cameron Bynum is a guy who in college played corner. I know they moved him to safety. But, I mean, having that flexibility, having someone as versatile as Kyle Hamilton. And also having, why do I always forget? Harrison Smith. There we go. He's like 32, I believe. So he's probably not in the long-term future plans of the Vikings. Kyle Hamilton is just the value is just too good. 33. Holy moly. Oh, his birthday's close to mine. Trent McDuffie going to the Chargers. I love the versatility of McDuffie, and he'd be a really good fit for Brandon Staley. And I mean, this part is also, again, this is a mixture of prediction and what they would do type stuff. So yeah, I don't mind it. Like, they do have Asante Samuel Jr., you would say another undersized corner, but he was playing a bit more on the outside last year. I do believe they haven't re-signed Chris Harris. So if they want to start McDuffie in the slot, like having that versatility, it's kind of good. It's kind of cracked. Yeah. All right. So the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't recall what this pick is. It's Devontae Wyatt, which isn't bad. I mean, Fletcher Cox, he's on a 1-year deal. Who else do they have there? They have Milton Williams, the Louisiana Tech guy they drafted last year, who you like his burst and whatnot, but he's also a guy that they actually played with a lot on the outside as well last year. So he's got a bit of versatility to him. Just getting another guy for that rotation, Devontae Wyatt, who's pretty pro ready at this point, isn't bad. So you're just grabbing a quality player here. The New Orleans Saints. Let's see. So I guess Trevor Penning, I think, is the pick here. Because, yes. So we'll get to the Texans in a sec. So Trevor Penning is the pick because Connor Rogers brings up, hey, NFL, this isn't where he is on his board, but the NFL, they're high on Trevor Penning. The Saints, I really think their sole purpose was to move ahead of the Chargers so they could grab a tackle with that pick. We'll see. Maybe not. This is, again, all speculation on my part. But if Trevor Penning falls here at 19, they do have a big hole at left tackle. I don't think James Hurst is the guy to fill that hole that Trevor or Taron Armstead left behind. By the way, fins up. Glad we got him. Don't know why it took 3 days of free agency, but glad we got him. And then George Karlaftis, this is actually the exact same pick I made in my mock when I traded down. Because I'm all about just, me personally, I think I'd rather take more swings at the bat and acquire more draft capital, especially because how it fell in my draft, I wanted to go wide receiver, and then Williams went off the board. Wilson went off the board ahead of me, so I was just trying to get out of that pick so I could grab more shots later in the draft. I did that. Worked out pretty well. I thought I had a pretty banger draft, but they get George Karlaftis. Listen, he's going to be a solid NFL player. I think his game translates well to the NFL. The upside could be a bit questionable, but the dude's explosive. He's strong. I like that. So yeah, so far I don't disagree with too much. Yeah. Honestly, my biggest gripe probably was I don't think the Saints would have gave away 16. It would have been 19, but it worked out in the long run, so who cares? Let's see. I think Zion Johnson goes here to the New England Patriots. That's great. They need to fill in that big Shaq Mason hole they now have. And the Patriots aren't shy about taking shots on offensive linemen. They do it all the time. I mean, with their tackles being Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn, those guys get hurt all the time. having a Zion Johnson who has that tackle capability. He played tackle a lot there at Boston College before moving inside to guard. So having that versatility, I think the Patriots would really value that. The Green Bay Packers. I believe this is Traylon. Yep. I know Connor Rogers was talking about how he's still having a hard time believing that they even go receiver in the first round. I think they have to with one of their first two picks. I mean, you would think, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers in the building. You got to think he's like, hey, get me weapons. So you got to imagine one of these 2 picks. Though I've kind of been leaning on 28 being their other pick, where they kind of focus on receiver and maybe just take the best player on the board here at 22. Though you could easily say that Treylon Burks is the best player on the board. So far, only one quarterback, by the way. I'm trying to think teams that could go in that direction. Obviously, I think the Lions are capable. The Titans can take a shot at quarterback, so we'll see. All right, Arizona Cardinals. Who do y'all go? Oh, that's right, Trevor Sigma, Arnold Ebiketie. No, was it? Maybe this one was Connor Rogers. I can't remember who made the pick. Oh, it got kind of messed up because of the trades. So that's why, like, my whole order's messed up. So I think it was Connor Rogers. Not positive, but I think there might, like, I think the NFL may view Ebiketie in the back end of that first round. Like, I was kind of talking about this actually a bit last week. I mean, I think I actually moved Ebiketie ahead of Boye Mafe in my rankings. Just because I like that he's a bit more well put together in terms of not necessarily his tools or his athletic profile, but in what he can do, his ability, what he brings to the table. He's not as rough around the edges as a guy like Boye Mafe is, while they're both about the same age. Boye Mafe is actually older, I believe. So I could definitely see Ebiketie like sneaking in. He's got an NFL ready skill set. The dude's got like 4 pass rush moves, but his counters and combos to those moves are like, change your pants good. And then I know this one's Bengal, and I think I believe it's Kenyon Green. Yeah, and this one's kind of a easy, chalk it up. It's just one that happens all the time, but it kind of makes sense. They need help on their offensive line. They lost Leo Collins. They lost Connor Williams. So, yeah, I really don't think Tyler Linderbaum. I don't think the NFL views Tyler Linderbaum as a guard. I think he's center only. I think there's a good chance he slips out of the first round. It's so hard finding a landing spot for Linderbaum in the draft. That's not the Bengals if he falls this far. So Kenyon Green, he gives you that type of versatility that he started the season at right tackle, was very good. But his best play came in 2020, where he primarily played left guard, which actually that's where they switched him back to. And then A&M did this weird thing where there were times where he played 3 different positions during the game. It's kind of funky. But Kenyon Green, man, a lot of people like to bang on him because he didn't test out like a freak like some of the other guys did at the combine. But like his tested numbers were above average for the position. So he still tested out exceptionally well. Go to the tape. You're going to like what you see. I like Kenyon Green. This one shocked me. They kind of talked to, I don't think it did. No, it did shock me. So they started talking about running back a little bit, just because they were having fun, right? And you know me, I would never do that. I'm just not a running back in the first round type of guy unless they're like rare. And even then, I'm probably taking them like back end the first round. That's just the value where running back's at. But Breece Hall is definitely probably, if a running back goes in the first round, it's going to be Breece Hall. Just because of his build, his upside, in comparison to Kenneth Walker, who I love a lot. But they didn't go there. then you might be like Andrew Booth. That's kind of the next obvious choice. I say obvious just because that's another one a lot of people pencil in because Booth ends up being there. But instead, there we go. They go Daxton Hill, which Daxton Hill is a guy that's getting a lot of hype. He is. I think Mel Kiper put him in his top 20 prospects. A lot of people are talking about Daxton Hill going a lot earlier than where people have him. Like, keep in mind, he's safety 2 or safety 3 on my board. And I got him, I think he's my 31, prospect 31. So still consider, I guess you would consider in the first round area. But going here is they got, I believe it's Poyer, who is a free agent after the season. And then after next season. So safety, him and Micah Hyde, they can't play forever. So grabbing Daxton Hill might not be a bad shot. Let's see. And also, if they want to play him in the slot, hopefully not. That's a waste of visibility. This dude's so rangy. But if they do, he's probably an upgrade over Taron Johnson, who's all right. He's not a bad player, but like Daxton Hill's pretty darn good. Tennessee, get used to this one. Let's see. Tyler Smith. I believe I did this in my last mock. Listen, Derrick Henry's the engine of your offense. Why don't you make sure that engine's purring like a kitty, which means you got to make sure the offensive line is good. Just lost Roger Saffold. You don't really know what you got in Dylan Radins. He's not going to play left guard probably. I think they're moving him to right tackle because Quisenberry's gone. So they did bring back Ben Jones. They have Nate Davis and Taylor Lewan. You kind of hope. Like, he's been like often hurt, and this play's kind of been all over the place. Tyler Smith's a guy that I think doesn't play tackle initially. You probably start him at guard, which he would take that left guard spot, and then he's actually the eventual replacement to Taylor Lewan. So I like that. Let's see. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't remember what they did here specifically. I think it was a corner. They were talking about Kyrie Elam and Andrew Booth. So they go Andrew Booth. Again, this is kind of like pick who you think, whichever corner you think best fits, or whoever you're more in on. I prefer Kyrie Elam. I got him, I think, only one spot higher than Booth. But Booth is very good in his own right. Like, my cornerback rankings just came out yesterday. Go check that out if you want to hear more about Booth. They have Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jameel Dean as free agents after this next season. They're not going to keep both of them, let alone maybe even just one of them. So it kind of makes sense. Buccaneers can honestly just go best player available. All right. Who was this pick for the Packers? I can't recall. It's David Ojabo. I still think David Ojabo could sneak into the back end of the first round. If one of these teams that are more kind of set, and they're like, yeah, no, we could wait a year for this guy to actually be able to play. He's gonna have to redshirt his rookie season. Like, David Ojabo's got that upside. Remember, a lot of people were talking about him as potential top 10 guy. I think he was probably in my top, like, he was in that 15 area for me. But he was really a guy that you were drafting him based on what you think the final product would be. Like, he was still raw in many aspects of the game, in terms of physicality and such. A guy that really only saw significant snaps at week 6 this season when he kind of became a starter. So yeah, this one was interesting for the Chiefs. He went George Pickens, which this happened in the walk the mock, and I kind of like this because he is a bit different than everything they kind of that they have currently on the roster. It gives him this more big body, big catch radius, deep threat who like who's legit, like just a competitor, like probably was talked about. Like he entered the season for me as a late first anyway, because there were parts where I wasn't really high on him. There's a couple of red flags when it comes obviously to the injuries, and then from a maturity standpoint. But I could definitely see him creep in. Oh, excuse me, I've been talking all day. But I could definitely see him creeping into the back end of the first round. I kind of started pegging him to the Packers at 28. That's kind of my popular pick, just because it sounds like they're really high on him. But then again, it could be a lot of smoke. Let's see what the Chiefs do. Or at least what they do again. Logan Hall. That's right. This is the one I really wanted to talk about. Me personally, I'm not a big Logan Hall fan. I could see the lore, but these tweener types, they don't have like the best track record currently. Logan Hall definitely he could break that kind of trend, but I kind of peg it more so at 31 for Cincy, because that's one place he had a visit. Just because they didn't have a top 30 visit with them doesn't mean they won't draft him. But I like the idea of getting someone with a bit more twitch, a bit more explosiveness on the interior next to Chris Jones would be legit. Because to be fair, like who's the pass rusher you're taking here? Boye Mafe? It's a deep pass rush draft. Maybe we get one. We have 2 second-round picks. Maybe we land like a Drake Jackson or something. So I get passing on that. Me personally, probably I'm going with Kyrie Elam, but I do understand that the Logan Hall hype at the end of the first round, it's legit. Remember, Peyton Turner snuck into the first round. And I was talking about Peyton Turner going early second. I was really sold he was gonna go higher than anticipated, and he went. I didn't expect going to the first round, but woohoo, here we are. Oh, man, I one cough, man. That sealed the deal for me. Turning red now. This Bengals picks Tyler Linderbaum. I mean, where else are you gonna go? Like, let's be fair. You might be like, oh, we addressed all the offensive line needs. Listen, this is great value, first of all. And Ted Karras is a guy that's capable of playing either guard position. That's why he's so valuable. He's got a lot of versatility to him. Doesn't have to just play center. He can play guard. Grab Tyler Linderbaum, and then you also got Jackson Carman, and just let the best guys play. Why is depth a bad thing? Why is having just really good players on the offensive line after you just suffered this past season, probably losing the Super Bowl because of it, of having poor offensive line play? How about you, now that you went out and tried to make it a strength, how about you go ensure that it's a strength? Oh, excuse me. And I know this last pick was Lewis Cine. There we go. Lewis Cine. So I think it sounds like safety's definitely in play. This is interesting. I know when they had the guest mock draft on NFL Stock Exchange, apparently the Lions, they're really happy with their linebacking core, so they might not be really into this linebacker class. If you notice, not one linebacker win in the first round. Kind of went the way of safety last year. But I don't think that takes the Lions out of play for a linebacker. I mean, if there's a guy that they're like, yeah, why not? This is good value. Let's go ahead and grab him. I don't think that takes him out of play. Obviously, it doesn't. But hey, if they have Lewis Cine higher on their board, they brought in, what was it, Deshaun Elliott? Might not be a long-term option, obviously. So Lewis Cine, a guy that could play in the slot as well. It's not bad. It's not bad. Always, quarterback can be a option as well. Overall, dude, this is an interesting mock draft. I like seeing different mock drafts. And let's be fair, dude. This draft, it's kind of unpredictable. Kind of is. Like, doing a predictive mock, it's going to suck. But I'm going to put one out anyway. I'll probably do it the morning of the draft so I can really get people pissed off before we do our live stream. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.